Hey guys, how's it going? So this is the last live stream here. So I thought it might just be fun to kind of mess around, just play some things, answer some questions of yours, and just kind of have some fun with it. Ooh, it would help if I played in the right key. All right, guys. So how are y'all doing? Go ahead and fade this one out. It's kind of a slow, subdued song. Hey, Alan, how's it going? Last stream of the year. Yep, that's a it's probably true. I'm assuming I'm not gonna do many live streams on here from the bike on the road. If I change my mind halfway through and decide that it might be kind of fun to do, then who knows? I might end up doing a stream where I just talk, but I won't have a U-bass to play. So it might be that I could do something like that before the very end of the year. But I'm just not making any promises because the bike trip might take more energy than I'm thinking. Yeah. So that's the main reason. So if you have any questions or just kind of any things that you want to hear me play or anything of that nature, just go ahead and let me know today, and we'll try to do some of that stuff today. So for those that don't know, I'm actually going to be doing a bicycle trip where I pedal across the country from San Diego to St. Augustine. So because of that, I'm not going to be bringing a U-bass because I've never done it before. I don't want to load myself down with extra stuff, not knowing how much every little detail like that makes, how much of a difference that makes when you're having to do something every single day all the way across. So because of that, I'm leaving the U-bass behind. And because of that, there aren't going to be very many videos for the rest of the year. So there are going to be 2 videos, one for November and one for December. I think I'm going to release them on the first Tuesday of each month. That's my plan. And for those that are interested, I think next month's will be a bunch of major scale warm-up exercises. So we can talk about some of that stuff today so you know what's coming up. And then also for December, there'll be a Christmas song. So I know that a lot of people, depending on religion, this, that, and the other, this year I'm doing a Christmas song. So sometimes it's just winter themed, but this year it's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So it's a Christmas song, but it's more about the reindeer than about, I don't know. It's still about Christmas, but it's more about that character, right? So for those that don't celebrate Christmas, I apologize, but I thought it would be kind of fun to do that one. I'm doing a tapping version. So I've been working on that. I've got to record that later tonight. And then I've got the major scale warm-ups, which we can talk a little bit about today. I'm sure that I've talked about some of these, but once you learn a major scale, there are a lot of things that you can do between then. Ha! Hey, Seth, how's it going? Glad you made the live stream. So I'm going to talk about those warm-ups real quick. So when you play like a G major scale, or any major scale for that matter, there's a D major, E major, you get the idea. I'm going to say use a default pattern like this. So see, I'm doing like a 1 octave where my fingers are assigned to a fret. And so you've got that pattern. You've got it down. Maybe you've practiced alternating fingers with the right hand. Index, middle, 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 index. Sometimes you can repeat the top note. Index, middle, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle. Whoops, I didn't repeat it. Index, middle, 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 index, middle. So that it rounds out to where you're always starting on index and ending on a middle, always doing pairs. But either way, that's a good warm-up on its own. So this video upcoming is going to start with that. But then the idea is doing the notes out of order is kind of a good exercise. So you could come up with your own pattern there. What I would do is use the number system to do this. Like you could write down a set of like 12 numbers between 1 and 8 in a row. So it could be like 1, 6, 3, 5, 4, 2. So then you do the first note of the scale. So that's your 1. Then the 6th note of the scale. I think I went to 3 after that. 5, 4, 2, something like that. So you're practicing kind of going through and scrambling up the fingers, but still knowing, scrambling up the notes, but still knowing which finger to play. And then you can do that in a different key. 1, 6, 3, 5, 4, 2, and E. So that would be like the first note of the scale, 6th note of the scale, 3rd note of the scale, 5th note of the scale, 4th note of the scale, and then 2nd note of the scale. Those aren't fret numbers. All right, so that kind of helps a little bit. Seth making them fish scales. Just remember you can tune a piano, but not tune a fish, right? All right. So that's a good one. Classic jokes over there. I would have spelled fish with a PH so that you can even bring a band joke in there if you wanted to add an extra element to that joke. Arco Van doing, hey, Steven, the sound of the bass is disturbed, maybe a connection problem. How is the talking? Because it may be that it may be that I have the low end up too high. Can you hear it okay, or is it talking about distorting? Because if you mean distorting, then I can probably fix that by just turning the bass frequency down. But yeah, let me know when things like that happen, because I have no way to check over here. It always shows the video clearer than it sends out, and it always, well, I have no way to check the audio really, unless I pull it up on my phone, which taxes my internet connection more, which is not what I want to do right now. So yes, let me know. Bass sounds a little better. Okay, so it's just that the low end is for some reason is overdriving, and it's not the microphone that it's overdriving. It's something about the connection, the way the microphone's hooked up to the to YouTube. So yeah, just let me know. It was distorted, but it's not right now. So thank you for letting me know. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. I know the first 9 minutes of the stream, it probably was a little bit rough. So anyway, we've got the major scale. We've assigned our fingers to the frets. Any pointer finger notes will, any second fret notes will be the pointer finger. Any third fret notes will be gotten by the middle finger. You know, so it's that grid, basically, 1 finger per fret. So if you're playing a 4th fret, it'll always be a ring finger. If you're playing a 5th fret, it'll be your pinky. But after we do all these like random versions of things that we can do with a major scale, we can also do specific patterns. So the specific patterns that I like to use are going up in thirds, and then there's one pattern where you like walk up in seconds and then jump down a third. So let's do the one in thirds first. This is like where you go the first note of the scale, you jump up to the 3rd note, then you come backwards 1. So that's the 2nd note of the scale. Then you jump up to the 4th note, because because that's a third away from the second note. And you go backwards one, jump up to the fifth note, back to the fourth note, up to the sixth note, back to the fifth note, up to the seventh note, back to the sixth note, and then you have the octave at the end. And then you can do it backwards, which we'll talk about in a second. So if we're in the G major scale, our G major scale is G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. So what I'm doing is going G, B, A, C, B, D, C, E, D, F sharp, E, G, and then you can go backwards. So that would be G jumping down to E, up to F sharp, jumping down to D, up to E, jumping down to C, up to D, down to B, up to C, down to A, up to B, down to G. So for the people that don't know the note names that well on here, I'm going to give you the fret numbers. So going up, that'll be 3rd fret E string, 2nd fret A string, 5th fret E string, 3rd fret A string, 2nd fret A string, 5th fret A string, then back down to the 3rd fret A string, jumping up to the 2nd fret on the D string, 5th fret on the A string, up to the 4th fret on the D string, 2nd fret on the D string, and the 5th fret on the D string. So you notice how much longer it takes me to explain and walk through those notes when I'm telling you the frets. It's because I have to tell you the string name and the fret number. So you need 2 pieces of information to do that. Whereas if you have all the notes memorized, you just need to know, G going to B, going to A, you just need to know the letter names. So that's just an argument for learning letter names if you don't already know them. And maybe at least memorizing up to the 5th fret so that you're not taxed with the burden of having to learn the whole entire neck all at once and then go back and learn the rest of the neck in pieces. If you don't know from open strings to the 5th fret letter names, then it's kind of, you're doing yourself a little bit of a disservice. It can help you a lot. Okay, so that's one of the warm-ups I'm doing. I think I added a couple extra on there like that, where I'm going one note above the end of the scale and one note below the end of the scale on the way down. So that's kind of like it's kind of like these are vocal exercises arranged for bass. And you can hear them on piano too. Some people do these on piano as well. So there's that one. Then the other one is where you walk up the scale 3 notes. So you go like 1st note, 2nd note, 3rd note, 1st note, 2nd note, 3rd note, 4th note, 2nd note, 3rd note, 4th note, 5th note, back to 3rd, 4th note, 5th note, 6th note, back to 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, back to 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, right, and then back to 6th, and you can keep going if you wanted to go up a 2nd octave. So that's what I did on the thing for next week. It's harder on the way down. So that one's kind of a good exercise because you're having to remember back up to as you go down. So you're thinking within the scale, and then your fingers are also having to kind of get fluent at playing in the scale in order to do those. So I think it's a good exercise, and it gets your fingers to practice patterns that aren't always in a set order of low note to high. So it's just kind of a good one. Yeah. Thirds are too. So that one's a good challenge, I think, just going through that. And I think I had another one that's even more of a challenge, which is just arpeggiating all of them. So you'd end up with a G major chord, then an A minor chord, but stay in this position. So you have an A, a C, and an E. Then B, D, F sharp for the B minor chord. And then in order to get the last G, I had to do an arpeggio here. Then what I decided to do for this one next week, so this is a spoiler for anybody that wants to know what next week's video is going to be. Was this part's harder. Takes some thinking, but it scrambles all the notes a little bit more, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. So I like that one because you're practicing something that's useful. You know, arpeggios are in a ton of songs. You're practicing them in one major scale position rather than just playing the simple shapes. So your fingers are kind of getting used to going out of order and practicing different ways to play arpeggios. And if you recognize those little pieces in there, then it helps even more on your playing. But it's also just a good finger twister, especially on the way down. It has this. See what I mean? I can't do it very fast because that's not one that I've practiced a lot. And then it's like having to remember which notes are in the scale and which ones aren't. So that one's the hardest one next time. But the concept is you're just going up arpeggios and then you're going down arpeggios. So if you're going root, third, fifth on the way up, and you're going fifth, third, root on the way down, starting with the one you just stopped on. See, it's hard to remember to like go in order. Like, what note do you go back to when you're doing the fifth? I think that's the hardest part. This one. Yeah, so that one's a lot tougher, but I think it's a good one to practice. But if you do it from the theory point of view, I think it helps more than just memorizing it, so that you realize that you're doing fifth, third, root of each arpeggio. And then you're having to remember which arpeggio is next, starting from the fifth of that, and then getting the fingers right. So I like that one because it's a big finger twister, and I kind of stumbled upon that one. So I think that one's a good one to do. Other ones I think I've talked about before in other live streams. I'm not including on next week's video though. Yeah, I guess we can still do that. So that's another idea with seventh chord arpeggios, and it's going up in patterns instead of staying in one position. So that's you doing the opposite kind of work that this one's doing. So that's some stuff for next time. And then for the Christmas song, I'm doing a tapping version of Rudolph. I'm just going to play like 5 seconds of it here, just kind of as a teaser. But the whole... So that gives you an idea of what's going on. So look for those. But that's what's coming up for the rest of the year, just to give you guys a spoiler. But I know tapping's a lot harder, so I'm going to try to release that one early in the month to give you a lot of time to practice it before Christmas. And that might be a good challenge one. So if you're able to play it at whatever speed, just wherever you're at, that one may be a fun one for the U-Bass challenge group that I have on Facebook. So those of you that are members, that one might be kind of fun. Just practicing tapping, because the two-handed tapping, there's a lot going on there, and the coordination is kind of different, right? You have to line up when the two hands are playing notes together and when only one of them is and the other one's not. So it's a little bit of an extra challenge unless you're used to doing a lot of hammer-ons, because that's kind of similar in that way. And they aren't recorded. I'm actually recording them later tonight, so that's why they're kind of fresh on my mind. I was giving myself a little extra practice by showing you what was going on. But yeah, so I might be wearing this shirt in at least one of the videos. That'll let you know. I've been practicing them a lot today, but honestly, the Rudolph one especially, it just it just takes a lot to kind of like get it down. Yeah, so that tapping one is a little bit tricky. I think the tapping's easier on the rubber strings than on the flat wounds because you don't have to put as much force down, but you do have to be very accurate. So if I were you guys, I would recommend doing the tapping on the rubber strings because you just don't have to push down as hard. Let the amp do the work instead of you having to do that. But it might be a little bit noisier string wise, which is why I'm going to go with the flat wounds. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of there's a bunch of spoilers. So I guess that's really all there is. So if you guys have any thoughts for tonight, stuff that you want to hear before I go on the road, let me know. I'll be happy to do some loop pedal jams like we normally do, and of course answer your questions. If you have any questions about your particular U-bass or which one to get or any of those kinds of things, just let me know. String issues, amp issues, just any of those kinds of things, just let me know in the chat, and I'll get to those as long as the chat's working correctly. It appears to be so far. I can tell Seth's been commenting pretty regularly, so it's at least working for him. Hopefully it's working for everybody else too. Let me know if the sound is good, and we'll keep going. So I'm thinking I'm going to do a loop pedal jam, and I want some input from you guys. So the normal thing. Oh no, on the road again. On the road again. Let's see. Road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. Life I love is making music with my friends, and I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again. I can't remember all the words. Sing the songs I may never see again. Wait to be on the road again. On the road again. Like a band of gypsies rolling down the highway. The best of friends, insisting that the world keep turning our way. Oh, and our way is on the road again. I should have done a loop while I was doing that, because then I could have soloed over it. But yeah, that one's a fun one. If you remember the words, and don't forget the what is it? Going places that I've never been. Seeing is it people? I don't remember if it's people or things I may never see again. But anyway, it's something along those lines. But that is a good one, and I'm looking forward to being on the road there. So that'll be fun. Wish you a very good and successful trip, and watch the video later. Well, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate that. Cheers. So tuning in from Holland, I appreciate you saying that. So it's kind of cool having people from all around the world tuning in. You know, sometimes it feels like it's a small world out here, and it's really a pretty large world. So I appreciate having people stop by from everywhere. Cool. So let's take a genre, and then let's take a key, and we'll see what happens from there. So give me a genre, not super obscure, because sometimes I just don't know the genres. Oh, okay. There was a Canned Heat version of On the Road Again. I haven't heard their version. I just did that one song by them that's kind of a blues. Going of the country, you know, that whole song. But I'm not as familiar with their versions of other songs. So let's take a genre first. Don't all speak at once. Pick your favorite genre, or a genre you want me to play, and then a key. So if Seth's the only one commenting, then I guess you could name both if you want to. But if somebody else wants to get in on it, I'll let them do that as well. So what do you got for me? Don't make it too crazy. I'll noodle until I see a genre on here. Some reggae. Always a good choice. Okay, so we got reggae. And what key would you guys like the reggae in? So we've got a reggae suggestion. Now we just need a key. chat must be delayed. F sharp minor. Okay, sounds like a good one. It's a good key. So something like that. So a lot of times I use arpeggios when I come up with stuff. Okay, I'm gonna go with F sharp minor, and we'll do that for now. I figure out where the other chords are. My brain's not firing that fast. Cool. All right, I forgot to reverse the polarity of the. So I have a sustain pedal plugged into the loop pedal, and basically that's how I stop the loop. And if you don't reverse the polarity from where you have it on the piano setup, hitting the pedal doesn't stop it. Letting go of the pedal does. So, and then it also deletes it automatically once you stopped it. So it's kind of interesting. So when you flip it, it works correctly where hitting it stops it and holding it down deletes it. But that's kind of what happened there. Canned heat on the road again. What would I do? I would just go like, what would I be doing? I'd have to do like, just sing the same thing, but instead of going on the road again. I just have to have a more airy voice. Is that the idea? I don't know. He's a higher pitched singer, right? And he has a more airy voice, but I'm not really sure what I would do there. All right. So let's talk about some things that you can kind of apply to looping, right? Drum beats. Like, I know I'm adding like rhythm to everything that I'm doing. A lot of times it's easiest to start with the rhythm. So if you were going to make a loop yourself, I would start with a very, very simple drum beat where you just do like bass, snare, bass, snare. So that's like you're slapping the E string and then you're strumming the D and the G. And what I would do is I would set the EQ to where the bass knob is turned up, so you get more of a bass drum sound than what I'm getting. Right? And then for the snare sound, I'm just flicking my fingers out. You could also just slap the strings if you wanted to. You could go like that. You could slap and pop. Right? And just mute the strings with your other hand. I don't know why I always do it this way. I guess it's because there's more surface area, so I'm less likely to accidentally have a harmonic ring out. But you can try different things for different tones. If you mute down here, you'll get a lower sound, and if you mute kind of in the middle, it'll be higher pitched. If you mute way up here, it'll be very dead sounding. You won't hear the pitch as much of the note. So that's what I would do, is just kind of start with like slap pop or slap strum, whichever one you like better. I'm gonna do slap strum, slap strum, do 4 times. Oops, I hit the thing a little too quickly. So that's the other thing. You want to make sure to do everything in time, or you end up with that. So I'm going to do it one more time for you. 3, 4, slap, strum, slap, strum, slap, strum, slap, strum, slap. And I hit the pedal right with that last slap. So you can kind of hear it wasn't perfectly on, so there's a little bit of a flam on that on that first one. It's not too bad, so I'll go with it. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. It says 2 measures, right? So now we just got to figure out like what kind of thing we want over this. So let's just say we wanted a arpeggio line that was like. I don't know. How about we figure out chords first? We build it up and do the bass line last. Let's say we want it in C major. I'm gonna use a real simple progression. 1, 2, 5, 1. So I was doing 2-note chords there. And basically those were a C major chord, playing a C and an E together, then a D and an F together, then a G and a B together, and then back to a C and an E together. So I'm keeping them kind of light so that they don't overtake things when I try to put a melody in there. So now I gotta come up with a bass line over this, so we can just kind of like mess around until we come up with something. So that's one idea. We can do an arpeggio thing like that. I have it to where it's just a playback. It's not recording. I did that by hitting the pedal 1 extra time. Okay. So we could do that. Or we could do something different, like just a root 5th line. For simplicity's sake, if we did a root 5th line over these chords, we have a C chord, so C, then it's 5th, D, then it's 5th, G, then it's 5th, and C. We kept it all in root position. Almost played the wrong note. So that's what we could do to keep it simple. You could also do like an 8th note line, just to keep it really simple. how it works. When I loop the first one, I hit the pedal again at the end of the loop, and it has the red mode with the green for recording, or just the green lights for playback. Okay, so you can do multiple tracks, but they're all over the length of that first loop. So you got to make the first loop as long as you want them to be. Seth's right that there are other loop pedals where you can do multiple things and have multiple tracks that you can take out individually. Here, you've just got to get them right. As soon as you record them, they're on there. Like, you can take all of them back off and just leave the initial one by holding the pedal down, but you don't have the option of, ooh, I messed up the third one, now I'm on the fifth one, let me go back and remove the third one. You need a more expensive pedal to do that. But this is the Boss RC1, and you don't need it for that. So for this kind of thing, you don't need anything extra. And then I have a sustain pedal plugged into the stop undo button. So if I want the whole loop to stop, I can just click this once, right? And then if I want to start it up again, I click the other pedal. And if I want to record, I click the loop station pedal again. Yeah, so that's kind of the idea. So let's just go to the simple like eighth note line. So what I did there was just C, 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 D, 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 G, 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 C, 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 C. So now we got chords, we got a bass line, and we got a rhythm track. So that rhythm track was just that slap, pop, and that was the first thing I did. And I made it 4 sets of slap, pop, if that makes sense. So you could call that 4 measures depending on how you count it. 4 fast measures or 2 slow measures, I don't know. You think of it 1, 2, 3, 4. Depends if you're thinking of measures of 2, 4 or 4, 4, I guess. Okay, and then now I don't want to record, so I just have it in playback mode. So it's just got the green lights going around. If you're not sure if you're in record mode or playback mode, just look at the pedal. And then now I'm just going to use notes of C major to solo over it. So you can see how that warm-up we did earlier would help, right? If you're used to playing these out of order. Basically what I'm doing there is just using notes of the scale. So you want to be able to play the C major scale on 1 string, and we run out of notes there. I try to get that other note sometimes, and sometimes it goes really sharp. So that's just using within that scale. Knowing how to do it on 1 string, and then I can also use that pattern or any other variation of that pattern. I could also do all that on 1 string there, but it stands out more if I do it on the G string. So when I'm usually coming up with a melody or a solo, to get it to stand out over everything else, I'm usually on the D and the G string the most. And if you want to, you can be cheesy like me and fade it out. Sometimes I do that with my toe. very exciting stuff. And then you can delete it with the extra sustain pedal. If you don't have the extra sustain pedal, you can always, let me just demonstrate. If I make a loop, okay, so that's what it looks like while it's recording the first loop. And when you end it, that looks like, and it's automatically recording on the second one if you have this model. They don't all do that. And then if you hit it again, it's doing the playback. But if I double click it, it stops the loop. And then that's what it looks like stopped, but it's still on there. So if I were to hit it again, it would start. But I want to delete it, so I'm just going to press it again and hold it down after stopping it. And boom, that deletes the whole loop. And I'm going to turn the volume back up, which is what I always forget to do when I'm doing shows with the loop pedal. That's always kind of embarrassing because you don't really realize it until you've already made the loop, because the sound will still come through the amp from the instrument. It's just the loop volume is not that loud. So when you hit the playback button after it's done recording, it's just like boom, silence, and you're like crap, and you turn the volume up. So if you're using it at a show, you got to remember to turn the volume back up if you fade out. So that's an argument for not fading out, I guess. Okay, so that's the idea with the loop pedal. And then I use various techniques to kind of separate the instruments out. So if I want the melody to stand out without having to make a whole bunch of EQ adjustments and make the drum part sound right, I'll probably have things set almost even on here, and I'll play toward the middle for like the rhythm, and for the bass line, maybe I'll play over the neck. So it has a warmer tone. And then for the melody, I'll play more towards the bridge to give it a brighter tone so it stands out. Even though it's not the best tone, really the whole idea is just getting it to stand out above the other stuff that's happening on the track. So if I were to have it, I'm not going to have it quite level because y'all were saying it was distorting earlier, so the bass is still going to be a little bit low. But I'll just give you just some other idea. This time I'm going to do slap, pop, slap, slap, pop. Like the We Will Rock You beat. Shouldn't have talked during it. And then I'm going to add an extra rhythm track. So the idea there is like it's a hi-hat. So I did for that is I muted up higher, and then I plucked closer to the bridge, muting the string with this hand and plucking eighth notes to give it that feel. It's got a little bit of vibration from me talking, looping, which is kind of interesting, but that's a different story. So I've got that now, or I've got an extra rhythm track. So now I got to pick a key, right? I'll do a minor key this time. So E minor. I kind of outlined an E minor chord going to a D chord. So I'll do a looped E minor going to a D minor. Oops. You know what? I'm going to have to redo all of that. Here we go. So I decided to play closer to the neck for the bass line so that it gets that warm tone. And then for the chords, I'm still going to keep it not all the way over to the bridge because I want to save that for the melody. I gotta add the hi-hat back in. So then now I hit the button to turn that off. And now if I want to play a melody, I'm going to play over toward the bridge so that it stands out. I was thinking like a really slow version of Breakdown by Tom Petty or something. But it's so slow that it's not like it, I guess. that's not what it is. Because I'd have to go up with the chord set down, like. Not that it wouldn't still work with it. But then I can't go to the other chord. So it's a little more stagnant than Billie Jean. Oh well. Yeah. So hopefully that gives you some ideas of kind of what to do with the loop pedal. And then that time I double clicked to stop it and then held it down after double clicking to delete it. So then it's ready to start a new loop. But yeah, just as far as like rhythm stuff, just to give you an idea, I guess I turned this into another loop pedal thing. You know, you got the simple boom, pop, boom, pop. You really got to listen to drummers and hear a lot of drum rhythms that they do. Like a bossa nova pattern, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and I say it's a bossa nova pattern, but really you'd have a clave going on with that. So we'll see. I think that was like. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, so you could do that kind of thing where you're, instead of a snare, the imitation of the snare being on 2 and 4, you've got a clave pattern. We don't need to get into all that right now, but it's kind of like learn the basic rhythm pattern of the style that you're doing, essentially what the bass drum and what the snare drum is doing. And then if you want to, you can add, you know, something that sounds like a hi-hat over here. Just sometimes the fingernail kind of helps to get that sound. If you want like a faster one, I do down and up with the finger. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. That kind of thing. So like, let's say I've got boom, pop, boom, pop. But I want to have a hi-hat that kind of... It kind of imitates 16th notes instead. You get the idea. It's hard to get all that in time sometimes, but that's the idea. And that's not the right drum beat for that. Just kind of a fun idea there. Throwing a little Jocko for you. Hey, Robert, how's it going? Said, oh, you're joining in from Maine. Very cool. Awesome. Well, I hope that you're having fun in Maine. That was awesome. I guess everybody hopefully will get to travel a little bit by the end of the year. I don't know. Like I was telling everybody, I'm going on a bicycle trip. I need to tell this to all my Patreon members. I don't think I've made an official post on there, although I've mentioned it occasionally in the videos and stuff. But basically, I'm going to be pedaling a bike from San Diego to St. Augustine. And that's why there's only going to be one video a month for November and December. But then I'll probably go back to weekly after that. That's my plan. And then I'll go back to doing live streams after that too. So this is the last live stream of the year, unless I just decide to do one from the road. But I won't have a U-bass with me, so I probably won't do that. But who knows? Maybe by the end of the year or something, I'll say hey or something, stop in for a minute. But that's very cool that you're in Maine. All right. So let's do another loop pedal jam, but this time you guys get to decide it again. Name a key and a genre. One person name a key, someone else name a genre. We already did reggae, so we'll try something other than reggae. And I'll play something until you guys come up with something. So Robert asks, isn't there a chance of snow along your route? And the answer is yes. Because I'm going from the west coast to the east, it's less likely that I'll hit a bunch of snow. If I was going east to west, I'd be hitting the west coast mountain stuff in December, but this way I'm going to hit it all in November. So the hope is that I'll miss most of the heavy snow, but there probably will be some snow. And yeah, that's just something I'll be kind of dealing with. And I'll be camping some nights and then staying in hotels and motels some nights too. So maybe if there's a lot of snow, I'll just stay inside instead of outside. But yeah, there will be some snow. That's what prompted me to play a little bit of the my original Going Camping. So I'll probably be camping along the trip a little bit. So that'll be fun. Yeah, so most of the trip is pretty close to the border. It gets a little further up from the border as I go during Texas, and then goes back down to the coast for the eastern states. But yeah, it is it is fairly low. It's the southern tier bike route. So if you know anybody that does biking or anything, if you just want to look it up, you can look up the southern tier. And I'm using a bike route that other people have done many times before. So I'm following kind of that one if you look it up. So that'll give you an idea of how far south I'll be. When I get to the eastern states, I'll be along the coast. So yeah, that is the plan, is avoid as much snow as possible. I think the only parts where I'm probably going to see snow are the western states. So like New Mexico might be one because it has the highest elevation. So probably when I'm passing through the higher elevation stuff, if it's snowing, I'll see snow. Yeah. So that should be fun. All right. So if you guys have an idea, let me know on here, or I'll just come up with a loop on my own, I guess, for now, unless I see a suggestion. Maybe something like that. That might be fun. It'd be fun if I can get it in time. All right, it's just easier to delete it with the other pedal. Apparently, I like the 2-5-1 progressions a lot. Man, it's just as soon as I start looping, I can't play it in time. trying to use these false harmonics. It's kind of hard to get them in tune. So I'll give up on it for now. So I'm messing with the EQ, and I'm trying to decide how much treble I want in there and how much I don't. Yeah, it was a little obnoxious at the end. Just some sort of ending. Slow blues in A sharp minor. Okay, do that. Okay. 2, 3, ba, ba, ba. All right, so I should have said something about this before starting. Blueses are harder to loop because you have 12 bars to loop. So the problem with looping 12 bars is if you start with the drums, it's super boring because you're literally just going boom, boom, pop. Although that would give you the most stability, right? And then slow blueses are in 6/8, so it takes a really long time to get around the form. So if I were to play live, I usually avoid doing a whole entire blues progression just because of how long it takes to loop. Or I try to do a lot at once. Or if I'm on guitar, I'll sing right away. So that way I'm singing over a whole entire 12-bar slow progression. So if there's something interesting going on while it's looping, and then when I get to the end of the loop, I can solo over it. So I don't usually do it like I just did there, but just to give you an idea of if you play a show with a loop pedal, which I know it's a rare thing to play a show with a loop pedal, but even if it's like a live stream or something, you probably want to avoid doing an entire slow blues 12-bar. You might be able to get away with a faster 12-bar, just start with the bass line. But honestly, it works better if you're doing a song that has vocals, so you can go ahead and start singing over it. And Robert, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you being there. I hope you have a good dinner, and I'll see all you guys at the end of the year for sure. Or at the beginning of next year rather than the end of this year. Who knows? I might say something to you guys toward the end of the year, just so y'all know what's up. I'll probably be on my Instagram more as far as the bike trip stuff goes, though. So if you're interested in checking in on that, it's at Stephen Cox Music, STEPHENCOX Music on Instagram. So that's probably where I'll update people the most. I might do a little bit on Facebook too, but probably less on YouTube just because that's not what everybody signed up for on here. Hey, Preston, how's it going? So, anyway, that's the reason why I don't suggest doing a whole entire 12-bar slow blues. If you're going to do a slow blues on a slow blues feel, maybe do like a 2-chord progression and just have that feel on there. All right. Well, thanks, Preston. I appreciate you stopping by. Do you have a loop that you would like to hear? So give me a genre. We've already done reggae, slow blues, and we've done a lot of country things so far. But if you have a genre and and anybody, if you have a key, just let me know if there's something that you guys want to hear, because we are towards the end of the live stream. So just let me know if there's a feel that you would like to hear, just anything of that nature. And then I'm going to have to end it soon after that so I can get to making those videos for you guys for one for November, one for December. I need a drum machine, seriously. I'm actually sitting on a cajon. If I had it mic'd up to the loop pedal. Okay. Funk in E minor. Okay. treble heavy. I hope you don't mind that I made it Dorian instead of minor. If I did minor, it'd be. I decided I like Dorian better for this. Kind of doing the blues scale now. Nah, we'll go with something else. All right, time to fade out. I think it's enough there. So that's another trick, adding loops on at the end to make the song bigger. So usually what I do is I take like a simple theme that can repeat, that can sound good repeated. Like here, some in E minor. I took the first 3 notes of E minor and just did something simple with them. You could go, bum, 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 just anything. Something like that. You just harmonize it with thirds. And what you do to harmonize it is whatever you played here, let's say it's the first note of the scale, third note, second note, just go up from there 2 notes in the scale. So if you were on the E note, if you go up 2 notes, you're on G. So then mimic the same thing, but start on G, then go up 2 notes from the next note. So if we have bum, 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 then you're going to go E, G, F sharp. So from the E, we're going to go up to G, G. From the G, we would go up a third to B. And then from the F sharp, we would go up a third to A. And you're just using notes that are actually in the scale. So I know that might be kind of confusing, but you're basically harmonizing using the notes of the major scale, skipping over a note in the middle. So it's parallel to the first note and the third note at the same time, basically. The third note and the fifth note at the same time, then the second note with the fourth note at the same time. So you could play them at the same time if you wanted to as well. I just like getting the attack like that consistent. But yeah, you could go that kind of thing. But you can also play them individually and have it build, and then just keep layering and layering things until you have too much stuff, and then it's time to fade out. That's typically the way I do it. But yeah, guys, that's it for today. I'm going to get on to making the final videos for the year. One for you guys for November and one for December. If you missed the earlier part, I kind of did a spoiler where I told which songs those be. One of them is more of a warm-up thing, and the other one's a holiday song. But that's it for now. But Preston, thanks for hanging out. Let's see. Thomas Slav says Beat Buddy. He's talking about Beat Buddy. Need a better looper to sync the two with MIDI clock and start stop. Yeah, so I don't want to go through all that extra stuff, so I'm kind of just syncing everything to what I'm playing instead of having to sync to 2 separate things. Keeping it kind of simple, but still doing that. But thank you for stopping by. Seth, thanks as always. Good to see you. Mark, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Good. So 2 people said funk. That's good. So it wasn't even just Preston. It was everybody. Robert, thanks for stopping by. Enoch, thanks for stopping by. And Alan, thanks for stopping by. Arco. So thank you guys all for stopping by. I can only see the people that left comments. So if I left anybody out, just know that I appreciate you guys too. And yeah, it's about time for me to get ready for this trip. I'll be as safe as I can. But like I said, if you want to follow me on that, I'll probably be posting some stuff. I'm not sure how regularly because it's just for fun. It's not, it's not a It's not something that I'm, doing to have people follow. But what I'll probably do is take pictures multiple days and then kind of dump them on Instagram, maybe a couple times a week or something, pictures and videos and stuff. So yeah, it'll be the Instagram is at Stephen Cox Music, STEPHENCOX Music. Thank y'all for stopping by. I've enjoyed doing these live streams it seems like I've done it without skipping anything other than Christmas and New Year's last year, for over a year. Let's see, I started doing it in May, or maybe it was June, July, August, September. So 15 months or something. So it's been fun, and maybe I'll start these back up in the new year. We'll see. I know I'll be doing weekly videos, but I'll probably do something maybe at least once a month, maybe back to weekly. We'll just have to see how I feel when I get back. I'm glad y'all enjoyed it. Thanks for requesting funk right at the end, doing something kind of fun. Imitated the drum beat that I was trying to do on the cajon. So that's the basic thing, though, when you're making loops. Just real quick, just probably build up from something that you can play in time the most consistently, and then kind of build back up. But yeah, I'll just throw the Instagram handle in here one more time just in case. So that's what it is on Instagram, that I'll be updating people with the bike stuff. So thanks again for tuning in. Y'all have a great rest of the year. In case I don't see you, of course, you can always keep in touch. If you comment on videos, I'll still be responding to comments. And, feel free to stay in touch there or on Instagram. Up to you. And I will see you guys in the new year otherwise. All right. Have a good one.